Yeah, I really should learn how to schedule my videos better. I could have had this come out in time for Shark Week. Most shark attacks are not fatal. They don't really like the way we taste, and often they would rather just swim away. Most bites are because the shark mistook us for something they normally eat. It bites and realizes that it isn't what it normally eats and lets go. Most of the time it leaves just injuries, but in some cases people have lost arms and legs. This isn't to say sharks are not scary. They can be, but they are more afraid of us than we are of them. Hell, humans hunt them for just one part of them, the fin, and then they discard the rest of the carcass. So how are sharks really the monsters in this situation? That's just something to think about. Sharks really are misunderstood creatures. Yes, they can attack humans, and yes, they look terrifying. I mean, a great white shark rolls its eyes in the back of its head when it chomps down on something. But you are more likely to die from hitting a deer with a car than a shark biting you. Most sharks also have poor eyesight, hunting by receptors in its snout and through smell. Some sharks, like the great white, ambush their prey by coming up from below. Thus, while you're floating in the water, you can look like a seal or a fish to them, something that they normally eat. So they'll cruise up and take a test bite to see if you're food. And when you taste disgusting to them, they will just swim away, leaving you with a bloody gash in your leg, arm, or wherever, but most likely alive. The largest shark is the whale shark, but they are gentle giants. At 62 feet, you would think that they could eat you, but you aren't plankton, and thus the whale shark has no interest in you. Great white sharks, on the other hand, are the next largest, and they will eat anything they can fit in their mouth. They're 20 feet long on average, and are the #1 accused shark when it comes to attacks. Yet they hate the taste of humans and will only bite when they think it's something they normally eat. Normally they let go and swim away. They also avoid orcas and dolphins because they will bully sharks around for the fun of it. Bull sharks, though, attack more people than great white sharks. These sharks are smaller, roughly 7 feet, but unlike the great white sharks, bull sharks prefer shallow waters. But bites and attacks are still rare. I mentioned the bull shark for a reason, and I will get into it later on. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a reason why I believe that they are the true culprits behind the shark attacks in 1916. For 12 days, from July 1st to the 12th in 1916, sharks attacked people at Beach Haven, New Jersey and Matawan, New Jersey. The first victim was a 28-year-old finance broker from Philadelphia named Charles Van Sant. Obviously on vacation, Van Sant decided he wanted to go for a swim before he went to dinner. What he didn't know was there was an abnormally aggressive shark in the area. The shark would attack him and sever his femoral artery. As he bled out, rescuers tried to contend with getting him to shore with the shark following them. He would die, and officials labeled it a freak accident. With the beaches remaining open, it wasn't long before another shark attack happened. This time, it was a bellboy named Charles Bruder in Spring Lake, New Jersey. 27-year-old Bruder was swimming 130 yards from shore when a shark bit into his abdomen. The attack would sever both his legs, and his final words were, "A shark bit me, it bit my legs off." Then, in Matawan Creek not too long after, Thomas Cottrell, a sea captain, spotted a shark swimming in the creek. He warned people, but his warnings fell on deaf ears. If the town had listened, 2 more lives would have been spared. 11-year-old Lester Stillwell was swimming in the creek with his friends at a place called Wyckoff Dock when he was pulled under. His friends, obviously terrified, rushed to get help. They ran into local businessman Watson Stanley Fisher, age 24. He heard their cries for help and rushed to the scene. He would jump in the water in a vain attempt to save the boy, but he was bitten in the thigh. Both would die. The final casualty was 14-year-old Thomas Dunn. He was attacked a half a mile from Wyckoff Dock, but his brother was able to jump in and save him, but the shark took his leg. It was only after the 5 attacks that the hunt for the killer shark was on. A large number of fishermen began to hunt for the beast. It got so crazy they even used dynamite to try to kill it. But in a plot twist, it wasn't a fisherman who brought the shark in. No, it was a lion tamer and taxidermist named Michael Slesher. Slesher was fishing in Raritan Bay, just a few miles from the mouth of Matawan Creek, when a shark nearly sank his boat. He ended up killing it with a broken oar. The shark, as it turned out, was a 7-foot-long great white shark. Schleicher had with him Dr. Frederick Lucas. When Lucas opened up the belly of the shark, inside he found human remains. After the shark was caught, the shark attacks abruptly stopped. Now it's time to talk about science and how scientists were stupid before 1916. Before 1916, it was believed that sharks do not pose a threat to humans in any way, shape, or form, and will not attack humans. Even labeling reports of shark attacks as tall tales. Here comes the ridiculous reason why. Scientists before attempted to make a shark attack, but when the sharks didn't attack and just swam off, they decided that sharks were harmless to people. I should point out that aggression will normally cause a shark to leave because it wants no part of being bullied, but this is science. Start off being dumb, get more info, become smarter. More or less. Just remember what I said earlier. Shark attacks happen because they think that you're food. After they bite you, they normally let go, because you are not their food. It is rare to get eaten by a shark. While there are some cases of people being eaten by a shark and killed by sharks, they are rare. Back in 1916, the belief that sharks will not attack humans was so powerful that scientists were keen on blaming other animals for the attacks. They blamed orcas and even turtles. Needless to say, we have revised science since then, and we're all better for it. The impact on tourism, though, was another story. Because of the shark attacks, beach resort towns lost business as the story spread nationwide. Total loss estimates at the time were around $250,000, but adjusted for inflation, that's over $6 million today. There is a huge possibility that there is more than one shark involved in the attacks. The time frame and the miles one shark would have to travel in order to attack people is pretty impossible for a shark. But more importantly, a great white shark cannot survive in fresh water for long periods of time. But a bull shark can. Bull sharks have more attacks on humans than great whites and do and have been known to travel into fresh water systems. They have been found in the Great Lakes of the United States and in lakes in Australia. To put it simply, they're able to do this because their bodies can absorb urine to use in place of salt water. I'm not a biologist, but the shark that was caught kinda looks like a bull shark, and it was even the same length as a bull shark. But I don't know anything, so don't take my word for it. Peter Benchley wrote Jaws, inspired by a large great white a fisherman caught in 1964. Published in 1974, the book references the 1916 attacks. While it wasn't the biggest inspiration, the 1916 attacks did have a hand in how the book was written. But Benchley has stated that he regrets writing the novel because of the impact it had on people's fear of sharks. According to him, he didn't know enough about sharks, and because of that, he felt as though he did the species a disservice. A lot of misinformation about sharks still lingers because of the book and the movie that spawned from it. And if you do not know the movie Jaws, you are either too young to watch this video or you live under a rock. The movie came out 1 year after the book and is directed by the great Steven Spielberg. Funny story, when Steven Spielberg read the book, he stated that the characters were so unlikable that he wanted the shark to win. The movie stars Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. The movie was a massive hit and spawned really bad sequels as well as really bad knockoffs, including one where the shark roars, but I'm not gonna go into that one. Though not the main inspiration, the shark attacks of 1916 had an impact on both the movie and the book. Sharks can be very scary, but because of Hollywood, they really get a bad rap. I want to say it again that sharks aren't the worst thing in the ocean. They just happen to look scary and look like they want to harm you. Like all creatures in the wild, including the types I featured in this 4-part series, if you respect them and keep your distance, then you have nothing to worry about. But that is what it's about, respecting nature. We are a part of nature. We do not have domain over it. The more you respect those who you share the planet with, the better off we all are.